Hey guys, welcome to another video, and today we're going to talk about how you can speak fluent English. Not just English, you gotta be fluent, you gotta be good at it. I know you all want to actually learn how to make sure that you have that perfect sentence creation and perfect grammar and all of that. We're going to talk about all of that, how you can actually achieve that. It's not a process that's gonna happen overnight, but if you follow this process, trust me, you will see yourself evolve within a very short time as compared to, if you follow other steps. All right, this is the same process that worked for me. I used to be this guy, in class 9 or 10 when I was back in India. I used to be this guy who was so intimidated about speaking in English because it was like a whole new language for me. All right, I just didn't have the confidence. I tried my best, but I was so intimidated by it because I just thought that what if I say something wrong? Maybe people will judge me. Maybe people will start laughing at me. And it's funny. No one really cares. Right now, if you are old enough, you understand that it's just a means of communication. English is not a language that you need to be very good at, but at the same time, if you are good at it, you do get that confidence from inside you. So even here in the US, what happens is a lot of people I've seen, they do not know how to speak proper English, and it's perfectly fine with everyone, really, because we all understand it's just a means of communication. As long as I can understand what the other person is trying to convey to me, the purpose of the language has been served. Right, so that's really the point. But again, you're not here to actually be okay with the broken English that you hear. You're here to actually improve that, right? So how you actually do that is, again, just this video is enough. All right, you do not need to go to any coaching centers. You do not need to take huge steps, but follow these simple steps. And I know they sound simple, they're not as simple because it's a time-taking process, but with the time, you will see yourself transform. Trust me, if you follow this process. All right, and I know you'll do that because you are someone who's turned up this video, who actually wants to take an initiative. So I understand that you are ready to put in the hard work. All right, so that brings us to the first step. The first step is actually being around people who have already been speaking English. All right, people who actually are good at it. Now, why we do that? Well, even if you're trying to do even if you're trying to be an entrepreneur, if you're trying to learn business, or if you're trying to do anything really, your first step is actually associating yourself with people who are doing well in that field, right? Again, why we do that is essentially because these people, they know what works and they know what doesn't work, and being around them, you'll be able to emulate their actions, you'll be able to understand their ideology, you'll be able to understand their thought process, and that's what you want. All right, so you need people, basically you need to be around people who know what works and what doesn't work. And essentially it's really like they've spent so much time figuring out what doesn't work that if you try to start from the bottom, you will spend the same amount of time, because it's not about just understanding what works. It's about understanding, all right, experimenting a lot of times and figuring out, okay, this doesn't work, this doesn't work, this doesn't work, oh, this thing works. Yeah, so that's what you want to be around them. It's the same thing in learning a new language. You gotta be around people who actually speak the language well, all right? Not, who are doing it well, who are not just speaking broken English, but at the same time who know what they're doing, who are good at it, all right? Now, if you are around them, you will be actually speaking in English a lot. And that's how you actually come around to learning a new language, come around to learning English. And that's what you want, all right? Create that environment for yourself. Associate yourself with these people, and trust me, you will see the change. Now, it's a funny thing, all right? Back in class 9 or class 10, I was, like I said, right? I was not confident at all. I was so scared that my English was completely broken. Like, I could write, I was so good at the spellings and everything. I could write it well, but it's a completely different thing if you take it from, writing to speaking fluently, all right? And I used to make a lot of mistakes. Trust me, I used to make a lot of mistakes. But then what happened was I met a girl. Well, essentially what I first tried to do was, every time I got a phone call, I tried to speak in English. It's just that I tried my level best, right? So I tried to basically speak more in English with the people I was talking on the phone to, because that's the easiest thing, all right? You don't have to be worried about what they think about you, all right? So that's the second step. Be confident, all right? So you gotta be confident. It's fine to make grammatical mistakes, okay? We know it's just a means of communication, And if you're talking to any mature person, he understands that and he won't really make fun of you. But you have to be confident. Okay, so try, all right? Try to speak in English. Try to interact with people in English, all right? So anytime I would be calling the customer care for my mobile phone, maybe, you know, for anything really, I would try to talk in English, all right? If I have an order and the delivery guy is trying to find my home and he's not able to get it, I would try to speak in English. That's really, you know, your initiative matters a lot. Okay, so, and by the way, after that, you know, in my case, what happened was that I basically started dating this girl who was, you know, back then I was really immature. She was not even from my home country. She was from another country. And yeah, basically she had this crazy good accent. She had the crazy good, you know, she knew how to speak English basically. And, you know, at times I would make a lot of mistakes. I would make mistakes like, you know, in this video itself, if I say that this is a very small video, again, that's a grammatical error, because small is not the word. You could say short video, that's fine. But, you know, these kind of mistakes I used to make them all the time, right? But that's fine, because when I used to talk to her so much, like I literally used to spend all day on the phone talking. And, you know, I'm not saying do that. I'm definitely not saying do that. But again, you know, so because of her, I got into this habit of speaking in English. And after that, you know, when I used to, at times she would laugh and she would correct me and stuff, but I would learn. That's the point, all right? I would learn so much. I would basically I just got so comfortable speaking in English. Next time, you know, even after dating her, if I ever find anyone else right now, mostly even when I interact with people, let's say I'm going to a party, or let's say I'm going to some meeting or something, I'm meeting up with a client or anything, I would be speaking in English. Now that's only because I got the confidence, you know, because of that. So just gotta get yourself around people who speak, and that's really the key, all right? It takes a long time, but trust me, if you're spending enough time with them, like I was, you will see that, you know, like now what happens is, like, people, if I talk to people from my home country, they would be like, why don't you speak in Hindi? And I'm like, I'm just more used to English now. I'm just not, you know, it's just very odd for me to pick up the phone and start speaking in Hindi, unless it's with my family or something. It's just very odd for me. So I never really speak in Hindi anymore, especially on the phone. So it just happens. You just get used to it, all right? Anyway, the third point that I would want to talk to you about is you gotta live the language. So ever since I was in class 9 or 10, what I started doing was I started living the language. I started living in English. So not only would my conversations be in English, I would also be watching the TV series or the movies that I'm watching, all in English. The music that I listen to, all in English. So basically you've gotta, you know, if you're taking in some form of entertainment, try to indulge English over there, all right? So it's just about how you actually get the language, and basically how you actually spend more time around the language, all right? So not only do you have to, you know, think in English now, you have to speak English, you have to think in English, you have to, you know, listen in English. So that's what you're trying to do, all right? If you do not have people around who are speaking a lot of English, this is how you do it. You watch TV, you watch it in English, all right? You listen to music, you listen to English music. That's just how you actually try to incorporate more of it in your life. And trust me, it will work. It works like a charm. You will find that there are a lot of good entertainment sources online that are in English, and you would probably not need any help over there. But still, you know, it's an important step. If you're watching something on the TV, try to transition to, you know, some other show that's in English or something, you know. So that's it. Again, if you can read books, like, you know, this is the book I bought today, by the way. It's pretty cool. But, you know, if you like reading, read in English. That's it. That's one of the steps as well, because you want to elevate on all fronts, not just in the speaking, but also in reading, listening, writing, whatever it is, you know, everything in English. Okay. I hope it's not a lot, but yeah, that's what you gotta do. And finally, if you do not have anyone to practice with and you are super intimidated about going out in English, for the first 10-15 days, what you can do is sit in front of the mirror and start speaking. Right now, I did not do that, but what I do a lot of times is I speak to myself. Even right now, if I'm walking down the street, I'm going somewhere, and I gotta get something from Amazon or something, you know, wherever I'm going, and I'm thinking something on the back of my mind. First off, I'll be thinking in English. Secondly, I'll be speaking to myself, like literally speaking loud to myself, speaking out to myself. That's what I do. I speak a lot to myself because I don't need people to, speak. I just like speaking. I just like thinking out loud, and that's one of these steps, right? You can go ahead. You can talk to the mirror if that's odd to you, but I like speaking to myself, so that's fine for me, right? It's just about the practice. Like I said, you gotta practice. Okay, the last step is actually, understanding that you are speaking a new language. You will see a lot of new words, a lot of new vocabulary that you do not understand. Now, what I want you to do is, again, this is my personal opinion. This is a lot of hard work for some people, but I love to do this. Whenever I would come across a new word, let's say I'm watching a TV series or I'm reading a book, I come across a new word, I would write it down, okay? Write the word down, write the meaning down, write a few synonyms maybe with it that you understand, of course, and write a sentence, okay? So a sentence that basically uses that word. Now, what happens is, every time you come by this dictionary of yours, you actually read it, you will see that basically not only do you know the meaning of the word, you also know its usage, because the sentence teaches you that. And trust me, people are good with remembering stories. So if you read a sentence every time, the same sentence, that becomes a story for you. And trust me, you will remember the sentence. Like even right now, I haven't opened up my dictionary in like months, but I remember the sentences associated to those words and not the meanings. So I just get the meaning from the sentence itself, and I know how to use it as well. And finally, there's a thing called active and passive vocabulary, right? So your active vocabulary is the one that you use while conversing, all right? So if you know the meaning of a word, let's say the word is nonchalant, and you know its meaning, so you can actually use it, all right? And if you use it, that's in your active vocabulary. But if you do not use that word, it's in your passive vocabulary. Now the thing about passive vocabulary is that basically it's very, very it's not something that sticks. So it's just in your subconscious memory, and sooner or later you're gonna lose that word, all right? But if you start using that word, it gets added to your active vocabulary, and basically you start using that word, and that word is yours for life, all right? So whenever you are whenever you are learning a new word, I would suggest write that down, try to use that word, basically, indulge that word in your speaking, and that's really how you basically learn more, because it's a huge language. We have like 4,000 or 10,000 words. I'm not sure, I don't remember, but 4,000 to 10,000 words every year get added to the language. So you can see how the size of the dictionary gets bigger and bigger. It's crazy, right? But you don't have to know every word there is. Even if you have like 5,000 words in your vocabulary, you're actually very good to go. You're actually better than most people in the world that speak English, right? Even in the US, that is, apparently. Yeah, so these are some of the tips. You've gotta, associate yourself with the right people, try to be confident, try to speak more, and don't worry about the grammatical errors. No one is judging you. Even if they do, don't worry about it. As long as you can get the point through, that's good enough, all right? If someone is judging you, they're basically not worth being around, because they cannot see that you are trying to bring in so much initiative, you're trying to do so much. It's not easy for some people, all right? Even if they're like 25 years old, it's not easy because they've not gone through the process, right? And trust me, within like 1 year, if you practice this process, within 1 year, you will be at a very good point. Again, you don't need the accent. How I got the accent is, again, the same story. I was, with someone who was not even from the country, and that kind of helped me because I was spending so much time with her. So that kind of helped me get the accent. But even here, when I'm in the US, that helped me, better my accent. So it's just about actually being around people who are doing good in the language, right? Who know what they're doing, and yeah, that's just it, right? And be confident apart from that, and practice every day, and that's really all of it. I hope this video helps you out. If you need any more help, you can hit me up on Instagram, and basically you will be able to, well, I love to talk to you guys anytime, hit me up, let's talk, it's fun. And if you cannot find anyone, maybe let me know. Maybe you can create a group or something where you guys can actually interact with each other, right? Just mention it down in the comments below that you want a group, and I would be happy to do it for you, all right? Good luck to all of you guys. I know you're taking a huge initiative. Don't go watching another video on YouTube about how to actually, you know, speak English well. Just write down the points in this video that I've told you about and start doing more. You know, it's just about the doing. It's just about the practice. Don't watch videos thinking that, you know, you'll learn a lot. You actually have to, unless you actually start, nothing's gonna stick. All right, so I hope to see you in the next video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. If you are already, you know, you guys know about me, just give me a thumbs up, and I hope to see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching this video.